Hey guys, welcome back to the 5-Hour Show. I'm your host Raymond, and as you can see here, we've got Smokescreen, a transformer that I had just recently picked up online. So, as I said before, we're going to start doing our projects. It's been taking a long time, but now let's get started. Because we didn't have anything to work on, now we have plenty. So, as you can see here, right off the back, it might be a little hard to tell, but you can see the yellow sunburn, and then you can see the bright purple. So whoever owned this toy before had left it at an angle to the point where the sun just burned those sides, because when you turn it around, guess what? It looks fine. So this toy was left at an angle somewhere on a window, close to a window, outside, wherever it was left out, and it got sunburned. So you guessed it, today we are going to do a 2-week, maybe 2 or more week process of using oxygen peroxide to take those colors out. We're not going to dip everything in oxygen peroxide. My guess is the front cockpit will be safe, but we are going to be throwing in the legs, the arms, and part of the chest, and maybe even the wing section, but I'm not sure just yet. So what we do need to get started is going to be a screwdriver, a hammer, and you guessed it, a pin punch. So now we have our tools. We can disassemble this toy and dip it in oxygen peroxide. So let's get started. But before we do, let's transform it one last time. So we'll put the landing gear in. We'll bring the legs down. And as you can see right there, there's a lot of sunburn here. This guy, again, it's kind of hard to tell, but there is a lot of sunburn there. So the legs themselves have sunburn, especially this one here. So you bring down the waist here. Here you have these swiveled legs. These fold out this way, and you turn them around. You then flip this around. Sorry, you fold this down, you flip that around like this, you bring this section down here, and you flip this part here, clip it into there, and then you have your smokescreen. You can then swivel the arms to wherever you pose you want, bring these down and flip the rear wings over. Last but not least, bring the feet up, and there we have our, you have to make sure it's all snapped into place. So this figure, I picked it up. It was part of an unboxing video, and I picked it up because, like I said, I've always loved this toy, this figure. The jet mode is cool, the robot mode is cool. This is a cool toy that was made back in the early 90s. So this mold, this toy design is 30 years old, roughly. I think it was released 94, 95, but it is roughly 30 years old. We're headed that way with it, and that's why I still like this design. I think the engineers hit it out of the ballpark with this one. The design is just so cool. It's got a little bit of Robotech inspiration there. The front being the cockpit, the robots folding. Yeah, this guy was, whoever did this design just knew that Valkyries were so cool, and he wanted to throw in his 2 cents with a design that is, I think, a homage to the Macross Valkyrie toy. And I know we're not talking about the other counterpart, which is, in this case, it's this is Starscream, the other one is BB, but the original one is Dreadwing and Smokescreen. So anyway, So now that we have it in robot mode, let's get started with disassembling the parts. So let's open this up. Like I said, this is today's project. Let's open this back up. And what we're going to do is, well, first of all, we're going to remove these legs. So these legs are actually going to go into a jar. So we've got our legs there. There you go. They're a little tough, but there you are. Okay, so we can't remove those. There's nothing we can do about that. So we'll just throw that whole piece in there. And so finally, here we are here with the head. Now this whole front section has the cockpit. I don't want to mess with this at all. But I didn't want to mess with this either. But it is affected. I do want it to look good. And so I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So and I think we got it, ladies and gentlemen. Ta-da! Our pin punch. So we got that pin out. And then, you know, for the head, well, there's nothing I can do. The yellowing is here too, so we're going to have to dip the head. Besides, I was going to take that thing out. I don't think the oxygen peroxide will do anything to the yellow clear, but we will see. We will see what happens. So I do love those glowing eyes. That's a really cool feature. So now we have all our pieces here. We have our jar. Okay, this is a jar. All of this should fit in, but let's double check before we do. You're kidding. Okay, so it's a good thing we checked. Okay, so our problem is that this won't fit in the jar, so away with the jar. But the good news is we found this container. Now this container has a wider mouth, and this is where you put your Q-tips in. So luckily, it doesn't fit perfectly, but it does fit. So we're going to put the sunburn down, facing down, so it gets most of the peroxide. So it does close, and when it closes, it should work fine. This is going to be out in the sun for a few weeks. So with that, let's get started, and then let's put all our pieces inside. Let's start by putting all our little pieces at the bottom. Stickers and all, it doesn't matter. Put the screw in there, put that in there, put this in there. You know, like I said, this is going to be a 2-week process. So now that everything's in there, let's see if we can close it. We can close it with no problem. All our figure is in there. Well, most of it anyway. So now we need our peroxide. So, of course, where do you go? We go to Daiso. And at Daiso we get this, which is oxygen peroxide, is called Oxidol. Oxidol. So I bought 2 little bottles, which I think will fill up nicely. We may have to just, we may use both, we may just need one, I don't know. So let's open it up and let's start filling it up. So there we go. This is our Oxidol, and let's start with one. So I think we will need both, but let's start and we'll pour it all in there. Yeah, we will need both. Let's do our best. So let's pour that in. All right, and there we are. All we got to do now is see you guys in 2 weeks. All right, and here we are 3 weeks later. So now we begin the process of cleaning it up. And we'll see what happens. It wasn't 2 weeks, it was 3 weeks. And now we're going to take out the pieces. And it was undisturbed. I moved it around a bit. So some of the screws got rusted, that's fine. And as you can see, a lot of the yellowing came off. And you think, well, that might be the other leg. No, it isn't. Ah, the plastic's warm. That's interesting. Oh, that pin rusted, but we can clean it. Punch it out. The the rub symbol for the Destron, for the Predacons, gone. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. So here it is. This one was the one that was yellowed. So it's still, unfortunately, it's still there. And I don't know why, but that's what happened. Raymond, you rusted it. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. So it's actually really warm. So yeah. Some of the, yeah, it's not as bad as it was early on, but it didn't fully come back either. You can tell the most is on this leg here. So it's some of it came off, but not all of it. As for the rest of the parts, we're gonna have to clean it. Obviously this one was a failure. The peroxide was not strong enough to remove that purple discoloring. Here's the other one. I thought it was working. I was wrong. Maybe we can give it a second go, just the part itself. So that's the thing, is you would think it's working, but anyway, never gonna lie about the results. So they're not great. They're not so bad either. But for now, you can see that some of it came out. That ball joint was a little yellowed. Now it's a little lighter than the other one. All right, there's good news and a lot of bad news. So the good news is I was able to, using hot water, straighten out that warp that happened. And all the little rust that was in there is just washed it away. So yeah, there was some things I should not have put in there, but I did. Now for the bad news is, for some reason the peroxide and the yellowing on this corner, and when I try to take out the post, I think I snapped it, or it became really weak and I snapped it. So that's the bad news. And more bad news was that peroxide, for some reason, was removing the paint off the head. I've never seen that before. I didn't know peroxide had that ability. At least it didn't harm the yellow plastic, but it did. I mean, I can paint the little head sections, but I'd never seen that before. And then again, for the horrible news, is that the yellowing on the purple did not come out, unfortunately. After 3 weeks, it just did not come out. Now my last ditch attempt, because remember, these are all experiments, it doesn't hurt me. That's why I bought this, to try and repair it, to restore it, and maybe help you guys with things that you could use or things that you don't need. So yeah, there you go. These are fine. That one, I think that one was yellowed. This one was yellowed. And it came, there's a little opacity on it, so it's a little strange. Uh-oh. Oh no. No, guys, no way. I think the peroxide, I hope that's not, oh no, guys. Yep. I think the peroxide did some damage to the plastic. I didn't know peroxide could do that. Well, it was 3 weeks. It was supposed to be 2, but I just got too busy. Can you see that? Oh, man. Well, seeing how this one is, I guess, gonna be a bust, then why don't we try something? This right here is 100. And let's try, and let's move this over. And I'm going to sand it. And it's already yellowed. Okay, guys, and here we are. This is the end result. You guys ready? So, here are our parts, and you might be saying, well, what's wrong with it? It's nothing super bad, but after the 3 weeks of the peroxide, we pulled it out. There was a little bit of, well, there was some rusting because it was 3 weeks. I'd forgotten about it, to be honest with you guys. But we pulled it out. It did kind of work, but it didn't. So it just discolored in a different color. So it got too bright. So I said, okay, well, you know what? We're going to sand it. And we sanded it, and then we put some Tamiya compound polishing on it. And this is what happened. So it I can't explain it. So let me turn this down a little. Maybe you can see that. So it really brightened up the color. And so while this sort of restoration was shot, okay, that's what it is. It's a failure. This restoration is a failure. I'm never going to lie to you guys. We don't learn anything from lying, but we do learn from our mistakes. My mistake was leaving it in too long. And then I proceeded to sand it and polish it. And so that's what happened. So it did brighten it up, but it brightened it up too much. Look at that. Isn't that insane? Now, this is the one you could really tell. But then, you know, there's that's look at that. So it's really, really strange. So it leads me to believe a few things. If you leave it out in the sun for a long time, evenly let it get sun damaged, and then you put it in peroxide, and then you sand it and polish it. Like the feet. I mean, those feet look white, but they're supposed to be gray. Look at that. So you can sort of change the color of the plastic, which was not my intention, but that's what happened. And so you can see that there's a little gunk from the polish, but look at that. And that's what it is on the inside. So it's a very strange reaction to the plastic. Now, I'm not saying that this process could work on all Transformers plastic, but it definitely worked on this plastic. Now, of course, I can reassemble the robot. I can repaint these. And I was actually thinking about repainting these legs dark blue or something. Hide the color. But I did think that the process of it being sun damaged, then put in oxygen peroxide for 3 weeks, and then sanded and polished with Tamiya compound, that's the effect you would get. Isn't that weird? Look at that. That's just so strange. It look at the difference in, you know. So while the process kind of works, I'm guessing it would work better just on white. I don't know. I did do it on a Lego once, and it did work perfectly. And it was a purple Lego, so I thought maybe I could do it on this. But I did leave it in too long. 3 weeks is too much. Way too long. Now, I just thought that was very strange, guys. Look at that. Isn't that weird? So, I'm not saying that this is the end of this project, no. But what I am saying is that we are going to shelve this project for now. Because what I do want to do is actually I am going to just repaint it. One of the things I couldn't take out was this pin. I did want to remove it. I always want to disassemble the whole thing. I'm sure I can remove these feet pins. I think. Can you? Is that even a pin? That's the thing. I'm not even sure if that's a pin. You know what? Let's see. Because it's not that I want to break it, but I do really want to see something. Maybe that's not a pin. Oh. Well, ain't that something? I thought there was a pin in there. There isn't. That I did not know. Shoot. Well, anyway. So, now you guys know. I didn't know those came out. Damn. Okay, well, anyway. I know that this and this would be very hard to pop out. So, you know, but anyway, so today we're going to shelve this project. We'll come back to it later. It didn't work, but we did learn something. But still, I thought that was very interesting. The fact that it discolored the plastic that way. So, anyway, with that, I want to say thank you very much for coming to 5-Hour Show. Thank you for watching. I hope this process has helped you, you know, maybe you learned something from my mistakes from this process. Maybe you guys can do something too. And now you know that these just pop out. So I didn't know that. Just, there you go. Did not know that. Okay, so yeah, maybe we'll just disassemble it entirely. Why not? We already destroyed the toy, didn't we? And maybe we can just repaint it. So we'll keep the black and we'll paint the purple something else, like a dark blue. Okay? I would like to put real wheels on this, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much. I will see you guys on the next episode of the 5-Hour Show. Take care. God bless you. And I'll see you in the next episode. Take care, guys. Bye.